Hey guys, it's your boy Shamtech, and today I'm going to be showing you how to use SolidWorks if you're a beginner. And today I'm going to show you how to start a design of a 5G router. Okay, you have to open SolidWorks and select a part to start designing a part file, and take note of the unit before you start your design process. You can head over to options, preference, and units and dimensions, and go over to units to change the units. But for this tutorial we're sticking with millimeters because this is what we use in the country. So let's get into it. Now familiarize yourself with the planes. We have the front plane, the top plane, and the right plane. If you want your design to always show the origin point, you can go over this eye icon and put the origin point to always be there. But if you start your design on the front plane, the origin point will come down once you click on sketch. Either way, so the red origin point is there. So to start the design, click on the midpoint rectangular tool and reference it with the middle point. It's best to use a mouse for SolidWorks so that you can design faster. Now you click on Smart Dimensions to add your dimensions on. Give it 50 mm for one side and click on the other line and give it 50 mm for the other side. Now we have the square. Now to take this from a 2D sketch to a 3D, all we have to do is head over to features and click extrude. There are various ways in which we can extrude. We can extrude from the mid plane, from the blind, and up to a surface. Up to a surface or up to a vertex is referencing when your designing has many different parts already. So our two options here are blind and mid plane. Mid plane means it's going to extrude from both sides with the dimension you give. Blind means it's going to extrude in one direction only. So now all we have to do is extrude and give it a dimension of 50 mm to get a cube, since the whole sides are already 50 mm, so it's going to be a cube. And click on the green tick OK to select. Now we've got a cube, and we can click on each side of the face and sketch on each face. So we have made our first object in SolidWorks. Congratulations. Now you can give it an appearance if you want. I'm going to make this cube yellow. This is a yellow cube. Okay, now we just designed something. And remember to always save your work while you're designing so that your effort doesn't get lost if your system crashes or your power fails. So to save, you can easily go over to the files and click on save, or you can just simply press Ctrl S and save the file with the name in which you want. Remember, Ctrl Z will take you back to your last option. SolidWorks is very Ctrl Z friendly, so you can Ctrl Z up to the very beginning of which you start. So we've made a cube, and let's try and create something else because this is a practice. We're trying to get better at SolidWorks. So this is also on the front plane. Take a circle. We can also give it a radius, or just extrude the circle, make it 50 mm. So extruding a circle gives you a cylinder. We've successfully made a cylinder. And in SolidWorks, as well as all the 3D design softwares, you can design a single thing in various ways. So I'm going to show you another way in which you can make a cylinder. But first of all, let's save the cylinder as our SolidWorks practice. Remember, Ctrl S to save. Now we're saved and we've made a cylinder. Beautiful. Congratulations. Let's Ctrl Z this, or we can just delete the sketch altogether. Now let's also design this one on the front plane. You can right click the front plane and click on sketch to sketch, or you can double click it, or you can hover the sketch on the panel. So I want to make a cylinder of a circumference with 50 mm. So in this method of designing, I'm going to use the revolve tool, and the revolve takes half of the part and turns it around. So instead of making a circumference of to make a circumference of 50, we need to divide 50 by 2. That's why we're using 25. So 25, and let's make the height of the circumference also 50. So using, instead of extrude, we use revolve, and we click on the center and it turns it around, and we click on OK. So we also have a cylinder, the same thing, but we use two different processes. The first one, we use the extrusion tool by just extruding a circle to a height of 50 mm, and this one we are revolving half of the cylinder on the right plane to give you a circumference of 50 mm. Okay, so we can Ctrl Z this, Ctrl Z, take it back, and we're done with the process. We can now make 3D sketches or 2D sketches into 3D because we're super. Then let's create a new part file to start our 5G router design. Let's go. Okay, majority of this design we're going to use let's save it first, Ctrl S, so that our work wouldn't go away. Ctrl S and MTN 5G router design, and click on the right plane, still using the same method. Now most of your designs you will be given the schematics with dimensions, so it will be easy for you. We're just designing our MTN router from our imagination, so it's going to be pretty stressful. But when you have your designs in front of you, all the dimensions are given, it will be easy. But there's nothing stressful here actually. So MTN router should be long and a bit cylindrical, but this is our design, so we have free will. So we'll start with a midpoint line. This one extrude to both sides, unlike a normal line that just goes one side. Okay, we use a normal line for this side and make it about 40. If we're making about 40, therefore our circumference will be 80. You can put that in mind anytime you're using the revolve tool. So okay, now let's use the line to close it up. Now before we close it up, we know that our MTN router isn't just rigid. It's not just rigid, it has curves on the top and on the bottom. So we're going to use this tool called the fillet tool. So fillet tool will give it a radius, and if this radius is applied, it's going to be applied in 3D also. Give the radius of about 30. The 30 is that too big, just click on one side, click on the other side, and give it a radius, and click on the green button. So you got your radius there. Beautiful. I think it's too short. MTN router shouldn't be this short, but let's click on the revolve tool and see how it looks like. Click on the middle. You see it's revolved. This actually looks more like a humidifier, not an MTN router. So let's take it back. And let's make this part a bit longer. Or should we make the radius a bit smaller? I think we should make the radius a bit smaller. Okay. Give it diameter. Instead of, okay, let's just increase this overall height since we did not dimension from the other side. It's still a bit short, so still a bit short. It doesn't give me the router fill yet. So let's Ctrl Z this and let's make it a bit taller. So instead of 100, let's make it 150 mm. Let's see. Okay, now yeah, I think it looks better now. So use the revolve to go over to features, use your revolve tool, click on the middle. Now remember, if I'm going too fast, you can always pause the video and reverse so you understand how I did the trick. Okay, it looks like a router now. So you know an MTN router have some breathing holes for the electronic device to not overheat. So we're gonna style it, and to style it we're going to use a pattern. So we're going to give our design a pattern. So If you want to continue your design on the same object, you might want to reference a plane. So this is the top plane, but remember, if you sketch on this top plane, you're not sketching on the MTN router, so it's sketching on this side of the plane. So the best way, I always tell students, if you want to go over to a plane, just click on the part of the plane you want to design on, so it creates a plane there. So click on sketch, so there's a plane on top of the router now. So you can continue your design from here. Now to do this, we're going to use a polygon tool to create a pattern. Polygon with end sides. You can edit the sides of the polygon. So I want to make it straight so that it aligns with the center. So this polygon has 6 sides, so we can edit it to make it have about 12 sides. 12 sides. So we can drill like patterns in there, so it makes it look more realistic. 12 sides. I think it's a bit far too close to the sides because I want it to get a little bit of the curve from the fillet. So let's make it a little bit bigger. It's on 12 sides because I selected 12 the previous time. Now we can use our circle tool and put it on the points that each of the polygons made. Then we will extrude cut downwards. Remember, we have done extrude. Extrude is just taking things up. So extrude cut is like the opposite of extrude. Instead of taking things up, it's cutting the lines you drew from 3D. And this thing is, we're cutting it off. So put circle, and we use a tool called the pattern. So we use a circular pattern, so all the circles will form on the points that we made it. Just follow exactly as I do. So we have 12 holes. I didn't give them the dimensions. Remember, most of this design I'm not giving them dimensions, but you expect practice to always give dimensions. So this circle should have radiuses. Even the previous circle I drew should have a radius. So we have this. So all we have to do now is select the part we want to extrude downwards. We can extrude the whole circle and cut it downwards. We can extrude cut, the circle downwards and cut it to give it a nice pattern, but I want only one part of it to be extruded to make it look more beautiful. So only this part, I will touch only this part of the contour to give only this part a cut. Remember, I selected extrude cut, not extrude, they're different. So we're going to touch each part one by one to make sure of the parts I want to select. So just 12. This one, okay, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. But this one is not selecting. I wonder why. I think there's something wrong with the sketch. I need to remove the inscribed circle. Remember, there's an option to remove the inscribed circle, so if you're designing yours, you can just might as well remove the inscribed circle. But if I had removed this inscribed circle, I wouldn't have time to show you this amazing tool. So we've made a mistake, but we don't want to delete anything. That's where the trim tool comes into place. So we can use the trim tool to remove parts of a sketch that we do not want. So let's escape this. Let's escape this. Some are going, some are not going. Let's escape this and go over to sketch. Still not working. Please, if you're enjoying this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe so that you can get more informative videos like this in the future. And also comment your favorite feature on Solidworks to participate in the giveaway. So let's use the trim tool. I tried, it didn't work. Trim tool, and I'm going to trim the inscribed circle one after the other. Remember, the trim tool is on sketch. The two panels we'll be using is sketch and features. So go over to trim. and trim this off the other part of the circle. I think is what's causing the problem. So trim them off. Okay. Now that you've successfully trimmed everything, you can try the extrude cut option again to see if it works. So go over to features, extrude cut, and touch the contour of the circle on the part you want to remove, only this part. So okay, it's working now. So that was the problem I suspected. Okay. So, touching the parts, click on this part, click on this part, click on this part, click on this part, click on this part. Okay, now we have, you see the extrude cut is going downwards about 10 mm or so. So you can see the fancy design we just created. You just gave it breathable holes for the electronics. Now remember, in most engineering designs, when designing a router or something like this, you most likely will have parts, because a router is something that might be able to be opened in case there's time for fixing and all that stuff. So it will come in parts, so not just a hole like this. But this is just for a beginner friendly tutorial, and I hope you've learned something. So I'll give it a color to make it yellow and look fine. Now remember, the design might be repetitive, it might be top and bottom, so as a bonus I'm going to give you the free trick. So I want to put these patterns on the bottom also, and instead of doing the whole design process again, we're going to use the mirror tool. The mirror tool is available on the 2D sketch, and is also available for 3D. So we can mirror this feature and go over to the top plane, mirror over the top plane, so it goes over to the bottom, and voila, so we have the pattern repeated. Okay, that's it for this video guys, and see you later.